welcome, Andy here, and today we're looking at the Harley Benton Fusion 3 FR, the wallet-friendly, feature-packed super strat style guitar that's making waves across the internet and beyond. Is it worth the money, or are they too good to be true? Let's find out. So before I begin, as usual, I'll point out that this is not a sponsored video. I bought the guitar at full retail price with my own money, and I'm not affiliated with any of the brands in this video. What you see is my own untainted thoughts and feelings on this guitar, and I won't pull any punches if it doesn't make the grade. So with that said, let's dive in. Harley Benton is the in-house brand of German music store giants Thomann, and are quickly gaining a reputation for selling quality, feature-rich guitars at seemingly impossible prices. Although they're originally seen as a starter brand, they've rapidly caught the eye of more experienced players looking for a capable guitar at an attractive price. And that's exactly what drew me towards this Fusion 3 model. I needed a guitar for some fly gigs over in Europe that would do everything I required, felt comfortable and well made, but at a price point that meant I wouldn't cry if it got lost or damaged by an airline. This guitar is the third iteration of the Fusion series, and is packed with so many pro-grade features that it almost seems impossible to make them for the money they sell them for. I mean, something has to give, right? Let's take a deep dive and see what's what. So let's start with the good stuff. Starting with the frankly insane spec this guitar comes with. We have a flamed roasted maple neck and fretboard with 24 stainless steel frets. The neck is slightly chunkier than I expected, but it's certainly not overly large. It just feels like a regular C-shaped and is butter smooth thanks to the previously mentioned roasted maple and the smooth satin finish. The stainless frets didn't have any high spots, and the edges were smooth enough and finished exactly as I would expect of a guitar at this price point. They needed a bit of a polish, but there certainly wasn't any issues. The guitar also comes with the Floyd Rose 1000 series tremolo, a major step up from the usual Floyd Rose special that's supplied at this price point. From what I understand, the 1000 series is a Far Eastern made pattern copy of the original Floyd Rose system, whereas the special is made differently and is nowhere near as stable and strong. So that was a major draw for me compared to everything else on the market. The guitar supplies with a set of Roswell humbuckers with a coil split for both pickups on a push-pull tone control, and it has a three-way blade switch, master volume and master tone. Now, as you can probably already tell, this guitar I'm holding doesn't have the stock pickups in, but I'll come on to that shortly. Just to interrupt for a moment, if you like what you're seeing, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, where there are lessons, gear reviews, tour blogs and much more. Your support really does help me keep making these videos. But for now, back to the guitar. The body of the guitar is Nyatoa, which is a budget substitute for mahogany. It also has a maple cap with a thin maple veneer over it and natural scraped binding. The finish overall is very nice, with minimal bleed into the binding and no real factory flaws in the execution, save for one issue which I'll get to shortly. It's a little heavier than I expected, but certainly no more than a medium weighted Strat, and obviously much more manageable than something like a Les Paul. But the best part of all of this is the price. This guitar came direct from Germany for just £399, including shipping and import costs, which is frankly insane. For context, I can't find a guitar that has all of these features for much under £1,000 from any other manufacturer, and everything out there does seem to be missing either the stainless steel frets or has a Floyd Rose special trem. It really is mind-blowing how they can produce these for around the same final cost as a Squier vintage modified Strat. However, it's also not without issues, and as much as I'd love to sit here and say it's the bargain of the century, there are a few bad points that need addressing as well. So let's get into that. So as mentioned, all of this spec does come at a cost. And in this case, that cost seems to be quality control. My overall impression of this guitar is that there's nobody really checking them over as they come out of the factory, and as a result, you get a bit of a hit or miss experience when buying one. Out of the box, this guitar was virtually unplayable. The neck hadn't been fitted correctly and was sitting at an angle which made the action crazy high. To counteract this, whoever did the setup simply lowered the Floyd Rose as far as it would go, which made the whole guitar just feel hugely out of whack. It was easily fixed with a good setup, but it took a fair amount of time to reset the trem and get everything level, and I still don't quite have it spot on, as the neck feels like it's shifting ever so slightly in the pocket. Secondly, there was a bunch of issues with the Floyd Rose, which, as I've mentioned, was one of the main draws of this guitar for me. Two of the saddle blocks were stuck so firmly in the recess that I had to knock them free with a hammer and screwdriver to be able to restring the guitar. The trem arm is also loose in the socket and feels sloppy and sort of clicky when it's in use. The route for the tremolo isn't fantastic and it's slightly out of line, although this doesn't actually affect the functionality of the guitar, so it's not really a big issue. The guitar also had a small crack in the top of the finish when I received it. Again, it's not a big thing, it's very well hidden and it's not enough to worry me at this price point, but it is worth mentioning. There were also a few tool marks in the neck too, but again, nothing really more than I expected for the money. The only other thing that really bothers me is that Harley Benton have made the inexplicable decision to put white dots on the side of the neck. Under any form of lighting, they disappear completely and just can't be seen, to the point where I've actually stuck massive blue sticky dots on the top edge. I have a roasted neck on my Sur with black dots and it's absolutely fine in all light conditions, so the choice to use white ones was, in my opinion at least, a bad one. Aside from the quality control issues, the only weak spot for me was the pickups. They're okay for what they are, but I found them quite muddy and flat sounding, with no roll off really on the volume. So I swapped them out for a set of Doug Aldrich signature pickups from Sur, and they really bring the guitar alive. I had a lot of trouble fitting the pickups in this guitar compared to the swaps I've done previously. It was noisy and intermittent, and it came down to a faulty switch and no shielding anywhere in the guitar. I swapped these pickups after 2 weeks of ownership, so I would say the switch was definitely an issue from factory. Again, it's not a big problem, and it was rectified with some copper tape and a new switch in about 15 minutes, but when combined with the other things, they do start to add up to a bit of a headache. So, to sum up, we have an incredibly well appointed, attractively priced guitar that falls over a little at the final hurdle when it comes to quality control, but then again, maybe I am expecting a little too much. At £399, it's far and away the most bang for your buck guitar on the market, but I would also budget in for a full setup and maybe a pickup change also. So for this reason, I couldn't really recommend this guitar to a beginner or an inexperienced player, as they just need a little bit too much TLC to make them viable. However, if you know your way around a set of tools or are happy to spend the extra on a luthier to fix the QC issues, then they really are great value. Now this one's been fixed up, it's a guitar that's in my rotation quite regularly, alongside guitars that cost up to 10 times as much. If you're happy to have a tinker with one, I would absolutely recommend one as an affordable gigging guitar that looks and feels great. Now at this point I would usually drop some sound files, but I'm breaking from the norm today for 2 reasons. Firstly, I have changed the pickups, so it won't really give an accurate representation of the stock tone of this guitar. And secondly, I'll be doing a blind test shootout with my Sur Modern Plus as my next video, using the tones I usually use for the sound files, and I don't want to give the game away. However, there are hundreds of reviews of these guitars all over YouTube, so I'm sure you can find it if you need to. So with that, that's all from me, and I'll see you next time.